like to call this meeting the Show Little City Council to order. Show roll call that all council members are present. Wow, how long's that been? It's been a few times. Welcome back, Councilman Hatch. Good to see you here. It's nice to see your smiling face when I came around the corner this morning.
Good to be here.
Glad you're here. Tonight, I've asked Councilman Hatch to lead us in the invocation, and I'll lead us in the pledge if you'd all like to stand and join us.
Get stood up here. Our Father in heaven, we ask for thy Spirit to be with us as we meet this evening as members of the Show Little City Council. We're thankful for the many blessings that we have received and for the gift of beautiful mountain to live on. We ask a blessing on those that are suffering the loss of a family member or having a problem with that virus that is in their home. Please be with our first responders and our military forces as they go about their duties. Please keep them safe. We ask this in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman Hatch.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that. And just
Thank you.
just as you're going through your morning prayers or evening prayers, keep Councilman Hatch in your prayers. He's got a surgery he's going to have to go to probably in next month or so. So we're all thinking of him, definitely.
Brain surgery.
All righty. Next item on the agenda is call the public. Any citizen desire to speak on a matter that is within the jurisdiction of the city council may do so at this time. Not seeing anybody sprint up here, we'll go on to the next item. Next item on the agenda under special events is presentation of the annual report with White Mountain Trail System. Lynn, and I practiced your last name today a couple times, and I'm just going to say, welcome, Lynn. It's good to see you. And you can pronounce your name for us.
Good evening, Mayor, Leach, and Council. And my name is Lynn Krigbaum.
Just like it's spelled.
It was, they left an E out someplace along the line in the, probably Ellis Island when way back somebody came. Anyway, I have been vice president of the TRACS organization, I think about 15 years. My husband and I came up here 25 years ago and full time. And our neighbor, Jack Barker, most of you probably remember him, said, you should check out TRACS. They seem to be a good group, and I think he had really good advice. So for 24 years, I have been working on trails with TRACS. It's the best thing I do. So I want to tell you a little bit about TRACS. You had, I think, in your packet, the description that was written by our president, Nick Lund. And I think many of you know Nick. He has also been up here for quite a long time, and he's very active, and we are so fortunate to have him as our president. He's also a great bicycle rider and trail layer outer. Now, Jason Moore and he have laid out a new trail that's going to be cutting the Blue Ridge Trail, which is pretty long, like 10 miles, in half, so that you can do a shortcut. So that'll be something that the trail crew will be working on this year. The reason that Nick wanted me to come and especially tell our town people, Sholo and Pine Top, and I'm also going to be talking to the supervisors about TRACS, is even in this past couple of years, we have had so many good things happening. TRACS is all volunteers. Nobody gets any pay. We run by donations. And I think we are applying for some money for help with putting in that new trail. But normally, we don't really need much money. And membership in tracks is free. So that's a good thing. We have about 500 members. It fluctuates through the year. Nick seems to meet a lot of people biking and getting more and more people into biking. I meet a lot of people cross-country skiing, and I have a list of 125 people that I tell them when I'm going to go skiing, and they can join me if they want. Not very many people do, but it's a good option. So in the volunteering that we do, those 500 people, maybe a third at the most of those people turn in either monthly or every 6 months or annually where they have volunteered and for how much, how many hours. Now the trail crew, this past year, we did 2,037 hours worth of work. We work every Monday morning from April to November. And in that time, we did quite a few trails, and there's a group that values volunteer time at almost $27 an hour, which I think that's pretty neat. But that means that our volunteer work has profited the Forest Service with a pretty good volunteer person, $54,000 worth of volunteer labor. So we've done a lot that way. But we also volunteer in a lot of other ways. The community service activities that we do in this past year, 11,124 hours. That's a lot. And that's not even probably close to what actually happens, because a lot of people don't turn in their hours. But for those that do, we appreciate that. And when you add all of that together, you'll see there in your reading that it's worth $354,000 of volunteer labor that has been helping people. So we think that's a pretty good thing. That's mostly what Nick wanted me to tell you. Now, the White Mountain Independent kind of stole my thunder because they put us right on the front page last Tuesday. If you saw the paper, there it was, front and center. So I'm kind of redundant. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them. But I just wanted you to know we appreciate being able to tell you about tracks.
Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate that. I have a question. When you say you volunteer, does that mean you as a group, you volunteer at events throughout the community? Is that what you mean?
We do, right? My husband is one of our best volunteers. He goes to the kindergarten at Blue Ridge
awesome.
almost every day and almost all day. So that's a lot of hours that he puts into that big number, 11,000 hours of people doing things.
Sure. That's awesome.
I imagine you have a lot of people who volunteer too. Yes.
Can I, for the people that are watching, if somebody wants to volunteer, who should they contact and,
And the simplest thing is to join Tracks. It's free and you get a newsletter. I mean, what could be better than that? And so you go Google Tracks White Mountains and you'll get our website. You can sign up there. As I say, it's free. You can donate if you want on there too, but it also has our trail system. All of our trails are downloadable. You can put them in your phone. It's a very handy thing. So Tracks White Mountains, that'll do it. Anybody else? Yes, Mike.
How you doing?
I'm fine, thanks.
I think it's just some information I'd like to see what came out of it, but I know when you first started putting the tracks in, you just had like a track number or how the routing was on whatever track you were on.
Okay.
But then you went and started putting mile markers and tenths of a mile and stuff like that. Has that saved a lot of people?
Oh, sure. I don't know what the actual number is, but it was in your packet. Tells about our emergency responder system, which we put in about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and it's working really well. Every quarter of a mile, on all 200 miles of our trails. There is a GPS location. It's a letter and a number on a white diamond on a tree or a post. And if you needed help, suppose you twisted your ankle and now you can't walk anymore, you need help. If you remember to call 911 and tell them the letter and the number of the code where you are, means stay by that diamond. And they will know exactly where you are because all of our emergency personnel, the 911 people, have the maps and the GPS. And the very first one that we had like that, it was a family who got on there where one trail went off of another one. And they didn't realize that they had switched trails. And so they were not going to bend up back at their car like they thought they were. So fortunately, they had seen on the sign at the beginning at the trailhead, call 911 and tell them the code of where you are. So they did that. And 45 minutes later, they had been directed if they would go another, I believe it was about a mile in the same direction they were going, they would come to a road and there would be a county sheriff or, an emergency person responding to the 911 to pick them up. And they did that. And so less than 45 minutes for, I think, all of our rescues, you might call them.
That's great. Thank you.
Great.
It's very handy. It also helps you know how far you've gone because they're every quarter of a mile.
Councilman Adams.
Yes, I've enjoyed these trails for a long time. I've
Great.
rode mountain bikes on them for years and
Wonderful.
crashed a few times, and it hasn't been fun. Los Burros Trail is my favorite, and I usually tell everybody they got to check out your trail system. So I'm very
Okay.
thankful for what you do, and I appreciate it. I enjoy it.
All through the summer, that's one of the best trails because it's one of the higher ones.
Yeah.
The Ghost of the Coyote. We're about to work on that, one of the first ones when we start in April, because by the time you get summer, it's a little too warm there. And Juniper Ridge is kind of the same way. But Los Burros is one of my favorites. Actually, my husband and I have biked that one too, and I've hiked it quite a few times. Anybody else?
Any other questions or comments? Lynn, thank you for taking time out of your evening and coming tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Love the trails for sure.
Good.
Everybody talks about them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is presentation of mid-year financial report for fiscal year ending June 30th, 22. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and council members. The MASH unit's back together, all the surgeries and
The
injuries.
band is back.
Glad to see you all here tonight for this exciting presentation. That's why everybody else showed up too. All one of them. All right, so just a quick overview, just have a few slides to give the council an update where we are through December 31st. Some of the slides we've prepared give percentages where we're at with expenditures and revenue since it's through December. The benchmark there is 50%. So if it's below 50% on expenditures, we're spending less than we expected for the budget halfway through. And if it's more than 50% on the revenues, for example, then we're generating more revenue than we expected through the mid-year. There are some cases where, let's say we have an example with the county where we pay for a certain, like a legal fee or something like that, we may pay it all in July. So some of them may show a higher percentage because they're all paid in July, but for the most part, 50% is kind of what we're looking at there. We'll take a look at general fund revenue and expenses, look at the sales tax chart, and then some key revenues, expenses compared to the budget in all funds, and then finally look at the debt service. So on our general fund revenues, just to go through these, just picking a couple of them, the taxes and franchise taxes, our budget for this year, a little over 12 million, and our year-to-date actual is at 9.7 million. So we're at 78% of budget which is very good news for us. The revenues have been coming in strong. Grants are one of those items that we may get all the funds in July, so showing 93% on this particular category for general fund grants. And the police, the non-grants, is more indicative of a normal revenue line item at closer to 45%. Any questions on the revenues? Next is the expenses. The city magistrate's one that is an example of an item where we pay a contract out of that account, and that takes up most of that budget. So it's 69%, but that happens July 1st. Other than that, you'll see most of the expenses are right at 50% or below. So we're tracking pretty well for all the general fund categories. And then the total at the bottom, you'll see that, or notice that we're at 29.2% compared to 50% through December 31st. This is a snapshot of our sales tax data going back to fiscal year 2017. This is something that you see monthly in the manager's memo, but we have had our best year ever for sales tax in fiscal year 21, and we're tracking about 10% ahead of that for fiscal year 22. We do have pretty close to where we were for the month of December, and that's because of a situation where a payment that was submitted didn't clear properly, so they pushed it to January. So you'll see the January number elevated a little more than perhaps some of the other months are going to be, and that's why December was a little bit low. Any questions on the sales tax? State shared revenues, the budget's 3.5 million, and we're tracking at 2 million, which is about 58% of the budget. So we're tracking well for that. The general fund and the highway user fund revenues are again above 50% at 59%, 13.9 million compared to the budget of 23.3. Fines and forfeitures well above the budget, or the estimate, I guess, for mid-year at 128,000 compared to the final budget of 151. The airport revenues broken down into two categories, leases, and then the fuels and oil sales. You can see that both of those are above 50% for the year on the revenues. Then our utility funds are all slightly below 50%, and that's because when we do the billing for the utilities, it's for the month prior. So when we send out a bill in January, it's for the middle of November to the middle of December. So this is, instead of being a full 6 months, it's going to be closer to 5 months on that. So that's why it's tracking low. And then on our utility fund expenses for water, 21%, and wastewater 13.4. A lot of projects get bid in the spring, and you'll see those numbers increase as we get closer to the end of the budget year. But a lot of those projects won't be completed necessarily in this fiscal year, and they'll carry over into the next fiscal year. So that's why they're pretty low. And then our sanitation is the garbage pickup with waste management, and that's billed with the water and the wastewater, so it's a little bit behind. It's not a full 6-month billing. For our debt service, so a look at the 5-year plan and or the last 5 years for the debt service. In fiscal year 19, that was our first payment that was due when we did the refinance, and we financed the public safety building. That was in 2017, but those typically aren't due for payment until about 1.5 years later. So that's why there was a spike there, and then it kind of has leveled off for the last 3 years. And then for fiscal year 23, you'll see an increase. It's not on here, but you'll see it in next year's budget, and that's for the 2 bond issues that we did, one for streets and one for wastewater. The streets was in the end of June 2021, and the wastewater was in September. So that's the summary I have for the council tonight. Are there any questions?
I think you did awesome without Carrie here. So
She's outside.
is she
just in
waiting
case.
for on standby? No, very good job. Any questions or comments?
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Thank you
Good
again.
job.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
All righty, next item on the agenda is a consent calendar. Is there, where we will look for a motion for consideration of cooperative purchasing agreement with the city of Glendale for maintenance and repair of city water tanks. Consideration of the minutes of the Show City Council study session, January 18th, and regular meeting, January 18th, 2022. Is there anything anybody wants to pull off and talk about? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent calendar as read.
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Good night, Rick. Next item on the agenda is new business, the Bill Cup Show. First item on the agenda is consideration of award construction contract for Reed Head House Foundation Repair, City of Show Low, project number FM-2522, and authorization of associated budget transfer. Mr. Cup.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. In 2021, the city purchased the historic Reed Head House located at 760 East Noosa Clubs. The home was constructed in 1912 by Charles Reed Head. Until the city's purchase of the property, the home has been occupied by descendants of the original builder. The city's intention to renovate and restore the home and keep it as a local heritage center. Much of the construction is brick masonry and adobe. Over the past century, the foundation has settled, causing significant cracking in the interior and exterior walls. This was a known condition prior to the city's purchase of the home and was included in the price negotiations. In December 2021, the city advertised a request for proposals for the foundation repairs. Several companies were also contacted by staff. 2 companies attended the pre-proposal meeting and the subsequent site visits. The companies were given an opportunity to inspect the areas around and under the house. The areas under the house were also videotaped for additional information in order to get as much information to the contracting companies. One proposal was received from APAC Pressure Grading Incorporated. This proposal contained a detailed scope of work along with engineering calculations and sketches. In addition to the technical proposal, a separate cost proposal was provided. The cost was $107,968 and was within the range that was expected for the proposed scope of work. Staff recommends awarding the construction contract for the Reed Head House Foundation Repair, City of Show Low project number FM-2522 to APAC Pressure Grouting, Inc., in an amount not to exceed $107,968 and authorize the associated budget transfers.
Thank you, Mr. Cup. Any questions or comments? Councilman Alsop.
Yeah, Bill, this company is APAC Pressure Grouting. Have they done work for us before too? Or this is brand new up here?
No, they haven't done any work for the city. However, just an interesting note, the person that owns APAC Pressure Grouting is a Reed Head.
Oh, really?
And spent many hours of her childhood in that home. So they're very excited about it.
Wow,
Thank you.
that's cool. Didn't know that. Any other questions or comments? Vice Mayor.
What was the original anticipated cost? Was that in here? When we purchased the property, we negotiated down
right.
on the purchase price.
I think there were a couple of them. We had an estimate, an early estimate from APAC that was in just under 70,000. Then there was another one from, I believe, Ramjack, and that was a couple $100,000. So we kind of fell in the middle of those two.
Phase 1 of this project, definitely. Hopefully we get some grant money going. Any other questions or comments or motions? Vice Mayor.
I move to award the construction contract for the Reed Head House Foundation Repair, City of Show Low project number FM-2522 to APAC Pressure Grouting Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $107,968 and authorize the associated budget transfer.
I got a motion. I got a second. Councilman Adams. All those in favor? All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Thank you, guys. Next item on the agenda is consideration of award of construction contract for Frontier Park splash pad design and construction, City of Show project number FM 2122. Mr. Cup.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The city's fiscal year 2022 capital improvement plan budget includes funding labeled Frontier Inclusive Park Playground. This project includes multiple proposed improvements that include an inclusive playground, excuse me, additional parking at Frontier Park, and a splash pad. At its December 7, 2021 meeting, the council approved the purchase of the playground equipment, and the council approved the parking lot project and the playground installation at the January 18, 2022 meeting. The splash pad is the final element of this project. A request for proposals was prepared by staff and advertised per statutory requirements. 3 proposals were received. Their proposals were reviewed by a selection committee. The highest ranked contractor, Splash Zone LLC, was selected based on the quality of the proposed facility and price. The proposed scope of the project is a 60-foot diameter splash pad with numerous water features, including 64 surface sprayers in 9 different configurations. There are also 11 above ground features, including a large dump bucket, a 5-bucket water dump, spray arches, loops and mushrooms, and 2 rain blasters, and those little guns that you shoot back and forth. The combination, the size, and the number of features will make Sholo Splash Pad a very impressive facility. The cost for the installation and splash pad construction is $489,645.97. Staff recommends awarding the construction contract for the Frontier Park Splash Pad design and construction, City of Sholo project number FM 2122 to Splash Zone LLC in an amount not to exceed $489,645.97. Be happy to answer any questions.
Seems like it's been a long 3 years, hasn't it, since we started this project. Councilman Alsop.
Yeah, question, Bill. Nowhere did you read in here, and I know that this is one of our biggest thing that I believe this council really liked about it was the AED improvement for any kids can play on this playground. It's not just for people that's healthy and everything else, but anybody can come on this playground and play and have fun. And I think that's why the council liked it so much, is because of that aspect of it, where it's a lot of money being thrown out, but I mean, all kids of ages, anything, disabilities or anything else, will be able to have fun with it, and that's kind of what we're looking for. So thank you, Bill, for everything.
And this is just the splash pad part of it. It's not the playground.
That's right.
Right. The playground's already approved. The equipment has been ordered. It looks like the splash pad equipment has a little shorter lead time, so we should be getting that sooner than the rest of it. And I put up a slide that kind of shows the layout of the project there. The splash pad is the circle to the right.
Oh, okay.
And then the inclusive playground is to the left, and of course the parking lot.
Bill, where's all the trees gonna be that they put in the rendering? Are they gonna plant a whole bunch of them, or do we get those? Is that
Actually, we're getting ready to start our budget process, and part of that, this next year's budget, we're proposing 3 ramadas and some sod and some trees.
Oh, that's good.
Great.
And just a quick comment too, now that you brought up the trees.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been asking me, I don't know about you guys, but why we would put this here. And the reason we like this here is because there is no trees. Because you can imagine what the trees and sap and all that does to it. So that's one of the biggest reasons. So, Councilman Adams.
This is probably just one of those questions but we do have a plan for winterizing this, right? We don't need an ice skating ring in the winter.
No, it's going to be a seasonal facility. We're not going to run it year round.
I know, but we got a plan to winterize it.
Just like we winterize all of our irrigation systems.
Okay. Just making sure. That would be a waste of.
Blow it out.
Yeah. That would, just come and ice skate.
Do that to Pine.
I can make
And actually, all of the mechanical equipment, the disinfection, and all the pumps and everything like that will be in an insulated, heated building as well.
Councilwoman Wilson.
I can make a
ahead.
motion if you like. I move to award the construction contract for the Frontier Park Splash Pad design and construction, City of Sholo project number FM 2122 to Splash Zone LLC in an amount not to exceed $489,645.97. $645.97.
I got a motion, got a second. Councilman Hatch, all those in favor? All those opposed, same sign. Motion passed unanimously.
So you and I get to go down there, right?
That's right.
Good.
All righty, next item on the agenda is consideration of a change order to construction contract for city entry signage, City of Show Low Project FM 2321.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The city's fiscal year 2021 budget included funding for upgrading and adding highway signs at 5 locations on Arizona Department of Transportation highways and a 6th location on Penrod Road. At its June 1st, 2021 meeting, the City Council approved the awarded contract of these signs to Floresco Services LLC in an amount of $313,020. After the award, it was discovered that the graphics for the backside of the signs were inadvertently omitted from the bid packet, and the contractor did not include costs for the back of the signs in their pricing. The cost to add the graphics to the backs of the signs is $1,954.80 per sign. This is still within the original budgeted amount. Staff recommends approving the change order for the city entry signage, City of Show Low project number FM 2321 to Floresco Services LLC in an amount of $11,728.80, bringing the total project cost to $324,748.80. And there's a graphic of the back of the sign.
Mr. Cup, I get where it says Show Low AZ, that number, what is that? Is that on the sign or is that just that graphic?
Yeah, that's a hashtag. Was going to be on the back of the sign.
Hashtag, oh, okay, I see.
And that was something I think council looked at that at a retreat, but it's been
You
a couple
realize
of
how
years.
long
Yeah,
we've been looking at these signs? It's hard to remember. It's been so long. Thank you, Mr. Cup. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion. Somebody? Don't make me have to find it.
I'll make a motion.
Go ahead, Vice.
Much as we hate to approve change orders, I move to approve the change order for the Show Low City Entry Signage Project, City of Show Low project number FM 2321 to Floresco Services LLC in an amount not to exceed $11,728.80, bringing the total project cost to $324,748.80.
I'll second that and also, I'll second it. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor? All those opposed, same sign. Just a quick comment, because I've been on this sign deal. That's kind of our fault, to be honest with you. The change order wasn't really, it was just something we missed, so anyway.
well, it was something that just happened when we published the bid opening. The slide that we had used has an overlay, and the overlay got overwritten, and so it showed a blank sign there.
Right.
It was just a bad click in a bad spot.
Thank you, Mr. Cup. Appreciate that. The Bill Cup show has ended. All righty, next item on the agenda, summary of current events. Council members? Welcome back. Go ahead.
I can't let the opportunity go by that I would like to express my deeply felt thanks for all the calls I've gotten and the appreciation of my concerns about health and such. But again, thank you all for your interest.
Absolutely. Just real quick reminder, we had a meeting today that on our barbecue throwdown that's happening in May. It's the first full weekend in May, so that'd be the 6th and 7th. So there'll be more information on that coming up. Councilman Alsop.
Yeah, thank you. Couple of things here. First, I would like to give a congratulations to our librarian, Lisa Lewis, that has now become the newest member of the Arizona Library Association as a president. So congratulations to her for everything she does over at the library. Second is thank you for all the prayers and everything else. The 12th of January, I went in for a total hip replacement, and I'm doing good after 21 days. So I'm back up here. And I told Justin Johnson that I would not walk in here with a walker or a cane, and I didn't. So But thank you for all your prayers and everything else for that too. And the last thing I'd like to is, I'd like to give a big thank you and a big congratulations to my grandson, Thomas Michael Watson, for graduation from Lackland Air Force Base, January 27th. He is now going to Shepherd Air Force Base for technical school, and that's in Wichita Falls. So congratulations to my grandson for being an airman.
Congratulations. Anybody else? City manager.
Yeah, just a couple of things tonight. The Recreation Department's hosting a Valentine's Date Night Out. It's a drive-in theater featuring the movie Always at Frontier Park on February 11th at 7 p.m. The event's $10 per car, includes refreshments. You can register at the Family Aquatic Center or on sholo.activityreg.com, or you can call 532-4141 for more information on that event. And in Public Works projects, the city's contractor continues working on the sewer project on McNeil from 4th to 8th, and then on the Days Inn property. The water line project for First Drive and McNeil's almost 50% complete, and concrete work at the city campus parking lot has been completed, and the site's back open for use temporarily until the weather allows paving of that parking lot. And once that project's complete, it'll really be a nice facility over at the city campus. So we thank everybody for their patience that if they're dealing with some issues over there at that city campus project.
Thanks, city manager. Anybody need seconds besides myself? I forgot. We have the Darren Reed Scholarship Dinner will be at the Elks Lodge April 30th. So I have more information on that to come too. So if you can attend that, it's awesome. It's an awesome event. I don't know the exact number of scholarships we gave away last few years, but it's been a lot. Okay, schedule of meetings. Everybody brought their phone as per the manager's memo, I hope. So, city manager.
So what we need to do is, it's up to the council if you want to do it or not, but every 2 or 4 years, the Federal Department of Transportation issues an RFP for essential air service carriers for our area. Currently, we have Boutique Airlines out there. In the RFP proposal, they had 3 proposers on the RFP. And in the past, the council's interviewed the different proposers, and then we can make a recommendation. The council can make a recommendation to the DOT, and they don't have to accept your recommendation, but in the past, we've always sent a recommendation to them. So what we're looking at is to see if the council would, first off, if you would like to have interviews with them, and then a date and time that would work. We have to get a recommendation to them by February 25th. We do have, we checked today, Planning and Zoning Commission doesn't have a meeting on the 22nd. If you want to do it that evening, it's a Tuesday evening. I will say this, we have done them at different times of the day. We've done them in the afternoon sometimes. It's up to the council when you want to schedule it, but once you set a date that'll work for all the council, we'll contact the carriers and have them make a presentation.
So I have a question. You said there's 3 total, including Boutique Air, right?
Right, Boutique's one of them that's submitted.
So would it look bad if we didn't interview them, or should we do all 3 of them? Or because we already know their process. I mean, we've been there.
The council can do however they want, and if you don't, you can interview them or you're not. If you're going to be here and they want to show up, we could give them the option.
Does everybody think we need to do all 3?
You know, and I've been on here I know we've changed airplanes thing 2 or 3 times since I've been on here. And we always talk to them. I think if we brought Boutique in here and at least talk to them and voice our concerns of the issues that we've had with them right now, maybe that might change something. But I think they need to hear from the council what our thoughts of them and how we think that they're running for our public here. So.
Is everybody good with the 22nd then?
And
Works.
What time would you like to start if that date worked?
Earlier we can, like 1 o'clock, 1:30. You're shaking your head up. I don't care when.
I can
What's the date?
start at 3 o'clock.
I mean, can people make it like at 3? Can you work that out in your jobs that we could start earlier? It'd be nice.
I'm on
staff as
short-term
well.
disability, so I can go anytime I want to.
I'll have to check with my wife to see if she'll let me leave the house that early or not. But
It could be easier on them. They're going to be traveling.
they'll be flying in, I'm sure. So, and staff will be here, so that'd be kind of nice. So let's shoot for 3 o'clock on 22nd.
Okay, and what we'll do is look in the previous ones and look at the length of time. And I can't remember if they're half hour, 45 minutes each, but we'll set that schedule and let you know in a memo.
So should we just tentatively put it in here because you got to get with them, correct? I mean, they
I think we're going to say that's the date we're going to interview, and they need to have someone here.
like that idea.
Yeah, they've got airplanes.
Why do they trust the plan?
Will we do that here?
We'll do it here at the council
Okay.
chambers.
How long do we think?
How long?
The meeting, do you think?
I can see it could be anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours.
We have it down for 3 p.m. on February 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Wow, that was different. One date. Any other meetings that we need to discuss right now? Okay. Next item on the agenda, executive session. I'll entertain a motion to go into executive session where we'll meet with the legal advice to do some consultation with our attorney. Got a motion by Councilwoman Wilson. Got a second by Councilman Hatch. All those in favor? All those opposed? Thank you. We will now go into executive session. Would you